Peace be to you all. Assalamu alaikum. For those of you guys that don't know me, I am Omar Abdul-Malik, Doctor of Health Education, AT Still University graduate 2011, and a physician assistant, Howard University grad and University of Nebraska. So today I want to talk to you guys about a question that's often, well, I don't think this is often asked during interviews. They usually, when you go on interviews, they usually ask you, why do you want this job? Why do you want to get into this program? Why do you want to be a doctor? Why do you want to be a physician associate? So I'm going to ask, one of the questions I ask that usually stumps people is, who are you? And it's always surprising to me how that stumps people, because many of us are never really asked that. And we have certain situations, whether it's your upbringing or your genetic propensity, so that nature versus nurture debate, it's age old. And we become how we are and who we are as we transition from childhood into adulthood and then old age. And how we react to the things that happen to us really define who we are. But if somebody were to come up to you and say, hey, who are you? First thing you might say is your name. Then you might identify yourself by your race, African American, Pan-Africanist, Black, Negro, however, the Census Bureau identifies you in the country in which you reside. Stuff is like really man-made. So even that's fabricated. But to me, the metal of the test, or the answer to that question of who you are, really sometimes you can't define it by words. There's no language that can really define who you are. So you kind of have to wait and see how your metal is tested throughout life. As each situation arises. I've had the privilege of sitting on admissions committees and some very outstanding physician associate programs, and I worked in administration in a medical school years ago, and then was interviewed for schools and various professional programs and jobs myself, and nobody ever asked me that. They would ask me, why do you want this job? Why do you want to get into this program? Why do you want to be this, that, or the other? And when I've asked this question of people, they're almost always stumped. And I think it really is a question that everybody should ask themselves and write it down. I'm a big advocate of keeping a journal, even though I'm not consistent with mine, because it holds you accountable to yourself as you traverse through life. Maybe who I am now as a 55-year-old man may not be who I am 5 years from now. I don't know. Time and experience will tell. And maybe the same can be said for you. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the world today. Wars upon wars upon wars. Elections. Trying to choose between the lesser of two evils. The devil you know and the devil you don't know, as it were. Maybe it's economic downfall in certain countries. I talked to a guy that was a doctor in his country, and he came back. There was war in his country. He had to escape. He can't go back because his country's been basically destroyed, the whole infrastructure of it. They had to start from scratch. And I had a student who was a medical doctor, cardiologist in this country. Same thing. Civil War broke out in this country. He had to leave. And he had to start from scratch. Couldn't get residency. It's not easy to get. It was very difficult. So then, if you're no longer a doctor, who are you? If I lose my medical license and I'm no longer a physician associate, who am I? Let's say I have amnesia. How do I find myself? I like these movies where people lose their memories, and they have to try to figure out who the heck they are. But this is life. You know, and again, as an aside, as somebody who works with patients with dementia, you know, it's one of the most tragic things for a person to watch a person lose their identity and who they are. That's why we really value our memory and our minds. But you know, for those of you guys that follow me, or maybe you're applying to PA school this year, ask yourself that question: who are you? And write it out. You know, make a mission statement about yourself. You know, what are your core values? Hey, that's it for now. I wish you guys the best of success in your positive endeavors. I am available for mentorship, for mentoring true PA students if you'd like, or if you just want to give me a shout out just to say what's up, and my fellow runners out there. Take care. Peace.